my family story can change one person's mind who might change that little baby that they have in their family, or save that baby. That's what I want, because what we went through was horrific, and I don't want that to happen to anybody. So my name is April Terlindi. I am the infection preventionist. My sister's name is Montana. She's actually in the National Guard, and she works in healthcare as well. She works in an OB clinic. And then she's got 2 daughters. The one is Faith. She was 2 at the time. And then Penny, or Penelope, was 4 months old. So I remember the day we all went there to the hospital once she was born, and her other daughter was very excited to have a baby. She loves babies, whether they're real or pretend. Always wanted to take care of them, so we have a lot of pictures of the 2 of them together, and she loved to give her kisses. She loved being a big sister. It was in the kind of middle of January. I think we were kind of expecting a snowstorm, snow on the ground, cold outside. I had just been over to my parents' house the night before and just kind of said hello to everybody. My dad was feeding Penny a bottle, and she was holding on to his little pinky like babies do. And Penny had just been for a 4-month-old checkup that Friday. Everything was good. She was a healthy baby. Sunday morning, my sister woke up, I don't know, it was like 8 o'clock or something, and thought it was kind of funny that Penny hadn't woken her up yet. Usually, especially when they're that young, you could wake them up crying or something at least one point during the night. But she hadn't done that, so she went to look for Penny, or kind of rolled over, found Penny, and she wasn't breathing. Right, so you're kind of freaking out. So she grabs Penny, runs downstairs to my parents, and between her and my dad, they start CPR. My mom calls 911, and they said 911 responded really fast. Within a matter of minutes, they were at the house, started CPR, and they were able to restore a heartbeat. For me, when I first heard about it, I'm like, well, they got a heartbeat. She'll be fine. She's at the hospital now. I've seen much more sicker people go out and come back. So I had planned to go down to the hospital to meet them all down there. And then my mom called me again from the hospital this time and said that Penny had passed away. And I just remember, like, no, that's not, it can't happen. Very kind of in shock. I went down to the hospital still. And then kind of when you're on the unit, you could just kind of tell, like the staff were kind of looking at me like they knew to expect me. And then I turn the corner, and down the corridor you can see the little comfort cart that has the food and the water, and there's the chaplain. And I think at that point is when it kind of hit me. I work in long-term care. I know what that comfort cart means. I know what the chaplain standing outside your door means. So to kind of be in that world was, that's when it sort of hit me. I saw my sister and my mom sitting next to her, and they were holding this little baby all bundled up in blankets, because at this point she was cold. The second I crossed that threshold, it was just, we all started bawling. And at that time, we really thought it was SIDS. Because that Friday she was perfectly healthy at her checkup. That Saturday I saw her myself. She was eating, drinking okay, she was happy. And then Sunday morning everything happened. So we got through that week. It was rough, but we did, and then they decided to do an autopsy just to rule out anything else. And it was 6-8 weeks later, they got the autopsy results back, and it showed influenza and pneumonia. So I tried to think about how she could get it, and then you realize too that she was only 4 months old, so she couldn't even get the vaccination. You have to be at least 6 months old to get that. So then somebody that small, that tiny, is completely reliant on everybody else around her to be immunized. So then you just wonder, I work in healthcare, my sister works in healthcare, my brother was working in the nursing home, in the kitchen in healthcare. So, all 3 of us have a higher exposure to it. One of us could have brought it home to that house. And then you have grandma or grandpa are out at the store, at the grocery store. They could have picked it up from there. They have little cousins, my daughter, Penny's older sister, nephew. They all go to school. They're interacting with other kids. They could have picked it up from somewhere. So really don't know where it came from. It's just the idea that, it could have came from anywhere, that no one is safe. I'm not gonna be able to figure out where or how it happened, and I don't know at this point what good it would do me. That's why I always just say, as long as everybody around you is immunized, your chance of making it through that season are going to be higher. Always get your flu shot, and not even necessarily for yourself, but for everyone else around you. Like for me, I get the flu shot. I know that if I were to get influenza, I'm young, I'm healthy, I would survive it more than likely. I get it so that my daughter who's 7, or my niece and nephew, or my niece at the time who was 4 months old, because there's a chance if she gets it, she's not going to survive it. So I get it for them, and I get it for, I work in long-term care where we have 80-year-olds and 90-year-olds, 100-year-olds who can't necessarily survive influenza, and I get it for them. Like, I was that person too. I'm like, that'll never happen to us. Because that's the other thing about Penny too. We're not a family that has any chronic illnesses. Like, there's nothing that runs in our family. She didn't have asthma or any other risk factors. She was a perfectly healthy baby, and we're all pretty much in general healthy. So how did she end up with this? Yeah. My family story can change one person's mind who might change that little baby that they have in their family, or save that baby. That's what I want, because what we went through was horrific, and I don't want that to happen to anybody.